Hello, guys, good morning. So today's 6th of February 2019, and as you can see here, this is today's daily market overview. We want to see if there's any good trade for the day, or maybe if the trades that we had yesterday and they're still running even up to today. So I'll start off with the main pairs just as usual. We'll start off with the EURUSD and then move to GBPUSD, then USD/JPY, SP500, and then Brent oil, and the last one should be gold. So let's start off. And Euro USD should be this one. Just a second, we have it there. So on this chart, as you can see, we have our lines drawn already. Then we have this trend line, and then we also have this horizontal line, and then we have the one on the lower side. So we mentioned here that this is a good zone, and that as long as the price does not close above it, this one here, if you can remember, like this was how many weeks ago? 1, 2, 3, like 4 weeks ago, we mentioned that as long as the price does not go above this zone after this candle, this was a sell candle, we expected price to be moving to the lower side. So far the price went down, it pulled back up, but then it fell to close above 1.1418, which is a good sell play. So we took a sell there and it's still holding. We want price to descend below this level, should go below that level like that. Just a second, we expect price to break below, then retrace back slightly, maybe up to the same place it broke below, something like that, before it proceeds even lower. So assuming you're on this chart as you speak, then the best you should do is to, if you didn't sell it at this point, then you should be waiting to sell it again at this point here. Those are the only two good places to sell from. You either sell it at the very top there, or you wait for price to break below, then you sell it for the second time, which is here. So I'm not going to add much on this pair because we are looking for a sell, and sell is the most appropriate trade on this pair. So remain short or wait and sell below this level here. I'll add an indicator to confirm that the trend is downward. There, this indicator is not clear, so we add MACD instead. Make it a bit bold. We have the columns of MACD below 0.0, so this is a sell. As long as it's actually not a sell, it shows that the trend is downward. Therefore, this sell we are seeing here is valid. As long as the trend is downwards and we have a sell signal, what you should be doing is to wait for that sell place. So the sell place I've already indicated, which is at this point or at this point. So we move to the next chart. We move to the next chart, which is GBP USD. GBP is this. And on this one, as you can see, yesterday I said you're supposed to buy from this one, but then the price has gone below where we're supposed to have bought from. So the price is likely to be heading even lower. It is likely to come back to this support. This is a weekly level. So if you're on this chart and you bought it at this point, probably have been stopped by now, but just know that the trend is still upwards, and therefore this is just a retracement. This drop we saw last week, then the drop we are currently seeing. Maybe next week we expect price to come back down up to somewhere around this point before it heads even higher. So if you're on this chart at the moment, then just expect a buy from around this point here. This is a kill weekly support here. Just a second, like that. This is a resistance. Price went up, it came back down to the support, then it went up, a support, it went up, then there was this false break. So something like this is likely. The price is likely to come back down up to this point, then bounce from that point to the upper side. So This means I bought it from this point, but I was stopped. I'm still waiting to buy it for the second time around this point here. So I hope this is clear that we are waiting for a buy on GBPUSD. We are waiting for a buy, especially from this point, from around 1.2725. So that should bring us to the end of GBPUSD. We want to check another pair, which is USDJPY here, and on this one I recommend you start from the highest time frame possible, from the monthly. Then we are going to move slowly back up to 1 hour to see if there's any clear position. Here, USDJPY there. Then we go straight to the monthly chart. So if you look at this chart properly, notice that last month's candle, which was this, was actually a pin bar pointing upwards. So as long as the price does not close below 108.68, this should be a very good buy trade. Like, despite the drop we saw, there's this drop and then there's this, the price went down but then it closed up as a pin bar. So as long as the price does not go below this level here, 108.68, this should be a very good place to buy from. We are actually expecting a move higher and should head up to this place here. So this is just a support, a resistance, and price is likely to come back to the same place, maybe something like this, to be used as a resistance again, then back down. Then in case price breaks above this place here, the upper one, then a retracement back to the same place like this, then a move higher is what we expect. We expect something like this in the long run. So this is on the bullish side, assuming the price, instead of breaking up, it breaks down, then this is what we expect. The price should go down, extend slightly lower, then retrace back to the same place, something like this, before we head to the lower side, something like this. So on this chart here, I'm actually looking at two trades. If price should break above the upper one, then this is a buy, and should price break below the lower one, then this should be a sell, something like that. So these are two trades we are looking at: a buy from that point or a sell from the lower side. But as long as the price remains within this range, we are trading reversals. We are going to sell from the upper one and buy from the lower one, sell from the upper line and buy from the lower line. So I hope that should be clear now, that there's a range here where we expect price to remain within, but should price break below it, then that should be a very good trade in the direction of that break. So that is monthly. Let's check weekly if there's anything useful. Weekly we have a level here, just a resistance. So you'll notice that I keep focusing so much on resistance level and support levels. It's not that there are no other levels, there are other levels, but these are the best ones that are appearing on this chart. If there's a diagonal, then I'd use that diagonal one. We have a resistance, the very top here, and then we have a support on the lower side, which is this, and then there's this break to the lower side, and then it came back up. This was a false break to the lower side, so we actually took as a buy after this false break. This was a false break, price came back down, we took a buy, it went up, came back down, we took a buy, and we want price to come back down to this level so that we can pick a buy from that point to the upper side. So if you're on the weekly chart, then maybe you should expect something like that. Then it should move up like that. This is what we expect in the long run. So either the price should go up from the lower side, or assuming it breaks below this level, then we are going to look for a sell, especially up to this point here. So these are the key levels. We have a level there, we also have a level at the very top. These are the three levels you're supposed to look for. This is a resistance. This should be a zone, so I mark it as a zone. We have the first one, we have the next one, and then we have the middle one, and then we also have the very last one on the lower end. So these are the key levels you're supposed to look for. If the price is here, then this is a buy. If it's here, this is a sell. And should price get back up to the upper one, then this is a sell. And the lower one you're supposed to buy. So this is just the same thing, you know, that you're supposed to buy from a support and then you sell from a resistance. These are the key levels, the ones I'm having on my line, on my chart. So I want us to move to daily. Maybe if there's anything, daily chart, I'm not seeing any good level other than this. Just a support, there's a break, we have that resistance, we broke above it, and currently the price is showing signs of closing below 108.7. so assuming this does not happen, that the price actually goes low but it ends up closing above, then this should be the correct place to buy from. We are still going to buy it if in case it closes above 108.75 by the end of today. So I don't find this a bit clearer. Weekly chart looks much better for me. I think the weekly chart is much clearer, so I'd rather remain on the weekly because here everything is attached, taken into account. We have key levels, then the price is moving in the direction of a key level. So if price is here, then I'm supposed to buy. Should price get here, I'm supposed to sell. A break on either this or this will mean I'm looking for a trade in the direction of that break. So we move to the next chart, which is SP500 here, and we are going perfectly as we forecasted. So I hope you are still on this trade here. This was just a support. Just a second, we had a support, then it broke below, it came back up, and then after that, after this breaking back up, there was this inside pin bar. So we took a buy when this candle, the one that last week's candle, when it was down here, we actually took a buy from this point, and we are still holding. We are still holding on to that buy. We expect price to extend even higher, should break above 2813.0, then retrace back before we buy it for the second time up to 2934.7. So if you are on this chart, then just remain long. Assuming you bought it already the way we said, you should remain long with it. Don't exit anything, just expect price to go up to this level here. Then you may want to take profit here, then wait for price to proceed higher, retrace back, and you buy it for the second time towards 2934.7. So I'll add an indicator to confirm that the trend is still upwards and therefore we're supposed to remain up. The first indicator, which is average directional movement index. So from this indicator here, just look from this point when there's this transition, when the red dotted line went below the green one, the trend has been upwards. So far we still have the green dotted line above the red one, and the main line is above 25. So what this means is the trend is still actively upwards, so you are supposed to remain long. Assuming you bought it just the same way you said previously, then just remain long as long as we have the main dotted line above 25, and then the green dotted line should be above the red one. If this is true, like from this point, as long as this is true, that the main line, which is complete line, is above 25, and then we have the green dotted line above the red one, then it means you are still upwards. So you're supposed to remain upwards. Just remain long with the position you had previously. Expect price to move up to this resistance, should break even higher up to this one. So we move to the next chart, which is Brent oil here. And on Brent oil, I want to explain why I'm having several lines on this chart. You can see I'm having this line, this line. They don't have any basis. There is no basis under each I'm doing. The main reason I have them on this chart is they just mark retracements. So don't think that this was a clear support or resistance. No, this was just a retracement, a retracement, a retracement. So from this point here, there was a move down, then there was an attempt to get back. That was a retracement. It went down, there's an attempt to go up, a retracement, then a retracement, then a retracement, a retracement. So if you can see, from when the price was at the very top up to this point here, the retracements are very small. Then for the first time, we see there's a very big retracement here. Then the price went down, and then it even retraced even bigger. So somehow, as you can see, it's like the size of retracements are increasing as we proceed lower. So small one, small one, small one, small one, small one, then there's a big one, then price goes down, and then we see even a bigger one. So what this means is that the trend which we had dominating from this point to this point is likely coming to an end. So the best thing you should do now is expect it to end, but only if price breaks above this zone. So far we've seen attempts to break above, but it's not closing clearly above that zone, which means we may still be downwards. We have a zone like that. So we basically want price to clearly go above everything, the entire zone which we are seeing here. Price should close above it, then retrace back to the same zone so that we can buy it from that point like this up to 86.212. So on the way upwards, there's a level here which you need to check. This is also a good level, just a support. If price is to go up, it's likely to find some hindrance around this point. Then we look for a retracement, and then we buy it for the second time up to 86.12. So this was a buy, and we're also waiting to buy it at that point there. These are the two places you're supposed to buy from. So let's draw this chart maybe 4 hours, 1 hour, to see if there's any good setup. Brent oil there. One hour. So on the 1 hour chart, we have something that looks like this. This is just a trend line. We want to remove also grid, then period separators should be none. On the 1 hour chart, we have maybe something like this. So on the 1 hour chart, this one doesn't look so much better to me. Like it looks like I'm trying to force it to fit, but it's also significant. So we have a resistance, down, a resistance, down, a resistance. So somehow the upper line is the line to sell from, then the lower line is the line to buy from, and should price go down, then this is the line to buy from. So on the 1 hour chart, if you're trading 1 hour, then maybe this should be a very good place to buy from. But should price descend below it, then the same place you're supposed to buy from is the same place you're supposed to sell from. So we move to the next chart, which is gold. Gold is here, and gold, this is monthly chart. So on the monthly chart, actually I want to explain why I have my lines drawn like this first before I move to the weekly chart. As you can see, this was since 2011 here. This was a good support, then it was broken, then we saw this false break, price went down, it came back up to the same resistance, down, back to the same resistance, it went down, then back to the same resistance, down, the same resistance, down, the same resistance, down to the same. So basically this place here is a key monthly resistance. This is a very key place on the monthly chart. Therefore, if price does not clearly break above it, assuming you wake up next month and realize that the price has not closed above this zone here, that maybe the current month candle goes up but it ends up closing within this zone here, then that should be a very good place to sell from. This is a clear monthly resistance. Therefore, if price does not break above it, assuming by the end of this month the price does not break above this level, then this should be the correct place to sell from. So whichever you used to do, whichever you want to do on this chart, whether it's on the monthly, on the weekly chart, daily, just ensure that that trade is falling within this line here. So we go to the weekly. On the weekly chart, we have our level at the very top, just the same place where the monthly level was. We have a level there. So from what we've said on the monthly, this is the correct place to look for a sell. This is the key resistance. It's a resistance both on the weekly and the monthly chart. So you're on this chart, just expect price to come back up to this resistance, and it's the correct place to sell from. So something like this, we'll expect price to move up, bounce from this point before it retreating to the lower side. So if you are looking at this chart, then we recommend looking for buy trades. Just look for a buy, expect price to move up to this zone, then it should bounce from this zone to the lower side. So I hope that should be a bit clear. That should be clear that whatever we're looking at on this chart is actually a buy. That as long as the price does not reverse straight away, then the best place to sell from is here. This is a very key place on the monthly chart and also on the weekly chart. So I'm not going to add anything. I'm going to look at it from maybe the lesser time frame. All I know is that the price is supposed to move from this point up to the upper trend line, upper resistance. So far we've looked at all the 6 symbols. We have gold, we have Brent oil, we have USDJPY, we have GBPUSD, we have Euro USD, and we also have the last one, which is Brent oil. So I need to mention something here, and to mention here that assuming you listen to this assuming you listened to this forecast now, you can get this bonus. We have a bonus here which is called 200% bonus. So the only thing you need to do with this bonus is at least you must have deposited 500 USD. So the procedure is down here, just read it. We have it's just 3 simple steps. You need to open an account and verify it, and then you need to enable bonus for trading. Then you need to fund account to get the bonus. So there are also terms and conditions down here which maybe you need to read. Just ensure you read all this, understand everything on this page before you even think about applying for the bonus. So thank you very much. We've looked at all the pairs. See you again in the afternoon. Thank you very much.